Throughout my career, I have helped a lot of people retire, and I can tell you this, the ones who struggle aren't always the ones with less money. It's usually the ones without a plan. Retirement isn't just about how much you've saved. It's about how strategically you've structured the next phase to sustain the lifestyle you want to live. Because once the paycheck stops, everything changes. Now you're asking questions like, how do I turn this into income? How to avoid getting crushed on taxes? How do I safely outpace inflation? What happens if healthcare costs explode? If you don't have a financial plan, you have a problem. You just haven't seen it yet. And here's the part that most people don't realize. It's not just one bad decision that hurts you in retirement. It's a series of small, uncoordinated decisions that start to stack on top of each other. So instead of trying to solve this piece by piece, you need a process, not a product, not a guess, a process that actually takes you through a financial plan. When it comes to your retirement, your first commitment to yourself should be your very own personal financial plan. Why do people get so overwhelmed by retirement? Let's get honest about this. Most people don't fail at retirement because they didn't save enough. They fail because they didn't know where to start. They were overwhelmed by all the moving parts. Or they try to do it themselves for so long that by the time they realize they need help, they've already made decisions that it's hard to undo. So if you're watching this thinking, I'm not totally confident with my plan, good. Because hopefully this means that you're catching it early enough to fix your current financial situation for your future self. What we can do today is actually walk you through how we structure a financial plan for the people that we work with every day. Now let's talk about what actually works. When we build a retirement plan the right way, we're not just looking at statements. Statements are a documentation of assets, but not a direction of assets. We're building a system with 5 core pieces: income, investments, taxes, healthcare, and estate planning. This is the beginning stages of building retirement infrastructure. This is the foundation that we will build upon for a retirement that will go through different phases of emotional, physical, and financial challenges that we will all face someday. Now let's take a look at requirements of a strategy. Number 1 is an identifiable goal. Number 2 is a method to attain that goal. And number 3, applying the competencies and resources to be able to sustain the strategy. So how can we do this? How can we accomplish this strategy? It's all through the different components of a financial plan built with your retirement lifestyle in mind. Because the goal isn't to barely survive retirement, but thrive in retirement. Let's take a look at step 1. Step 1 is income. This is where everything starts. And remember, you don't spend a portfolio, you spend income. And this is where so many people get it wrong. They rely on outdated rules like the 4% rule, set it and forget it. And this is what I've been doing for 30 years. And what it does is it forces them to either underspend or overspend, or even worse, take on risk that they don't even understand. What we do instead is build an income plan, your income plan specifically. Think of it like this. You build out the lifestyle that you want. You know what you want your retirement to look like and feel like. How do you want to travel? How do you want to spend time? What are your goals, your wants, your needs? You now know what you want and how you're going to pay for that. Step number 2, let's take a look at your investments. Remember, all accounts are not created equal. This is another mistake that many retirees make. They treat all their bank and investment accounts all the same, but they're not the same. Your taxable accounts, these need to be different. Low turnover, tax aware, and also be aware of capital gains. It doesn't mean that you set it and forget it. This is also another mistake that retirees make. In any taxable account, there are still many strategies that you can implement and complement an IRA or even a Roth IRA account. A few considerations are step up in cost basis, tax loss harvesting, controlling when you pay taxes. Your IRA accounts, this is where you have flexibility. This is where you can rebalance regularly, have a more sophisticated portfolio, be more growth specific, de-risk the portfolio. Next up are Roth accounts. A Roth IRA can provide even more flexibility. A Roth can reduce your taxable income. It can be a great transfer of generational wealth tool. It can also reduce your required minimum distributions. And lastly, let's be clear about something. This should not be about beating the market or comparing benchmarks. When it comes to benchmarks, the only benchmark you need to be concerned about is your lifestyle and your income needs, not the S&P 500, not crypto, and certainly not what your neighbor is doing. One thing to remember is it is your portfolio's rate of return that is the driver to your lifestyle, the driver to your income, the driver to outpacing inflation. And a better rate of return provides many luxuries over time, like the ability to afford Roth conversions, maintaining your lifestyle, healthcare costs, transfers of generational wealth, or it could be as simple as a financial peace of mind. Step number 3, taxes. This is where many retirees get blindsided. If you've never done financial planning, more than likely you've skipped over tax planning. Remember that tax planning isn't about what you've paid over the past 12 months, it's about how much you will pay over the next 2 or 3 decades with required minimum distributions, withdrawals from your traditional IRA, and these could possibly affect your Social Security and Medicare premiums Part B and D. Let me give you a real-world type scenario. You take a little extra money out, you think you're paying 20% in taxes, but now more of your Social Security becomes taxable. Your capital gains might get triggered, your Medicare premiums go up, and suddenly that small withdrawal is now taxed closer to 30 or 40%, and you didn't even see it coming. That's what we call phantom tax, and it happens all the time. So what do we do instead? Every single year, we project income ahead of time, and then we decide where should we take the money from? What kind of accounts should we pull this from before we pull any money? That one shift alone can save tens, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars over retirement. Let's take a look at step 4. Step 4 is healthcare, the silent risk. Most people severely underestimate this badly. There are 3 phases that we have to be aware of: before Medicare, during Medicare, and then long-term care. And here's the part that catches a lot of people. Medicare does not cover custodial care. So if you need help with activities of daily living, like mobility, getting dressed, feeding yourself, or even extended care, you now have to pay for that out of pocket. And if that's not planned for, it doesn't just affect you. It affects your entire family and more than likely your finances if not properly planned for. Remember that healthcare and long-term care are 2 different kinds of planning and need to be considered in your financial plan. Not only is healthcare and long-term care expensive, they also inflate faster than anything else. While housing, utilities, gas, and groceries range between 2 to 3% long-term, healthcare is usually about 5 to 7% annually, consistently doubling normal inflation. Let's move on to step 5. Step 5 is estate planning. What happens when you're not here? This is a crucial part of retirement planning that retirees often avoid and put off. Why is that? Well, it's very easy to delay. It forces people to make decisions, or I have a will, I'm good. The reality is, a lot of times there's outdated documents, there's no coordination, there's no distribution strategy, and you could be leaving a real mess for your beneficiaries. A well-planned estate plan isn't just about documents. It's about clarity, control, and protection. Who is the trustee? Who is in charge? Where is everything? Who are the correct beneficiaries? What happens if something goes wrong? I've seen families struggle through this mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. I've also seen families where everything was organized, structured, and there's a smooth transition of assets. The difference is night and day. Now let's bring this together. When this is done right, you don't just have a documentation of assets, now you have a better direction of your assets. You have a paycheck in retirement, a tax strategy, a healthcare plan, a process that adjusts with life's unknowns, and a future full of unknowns is everyone's reality. And most importantly, you will have more confidence because two people can retire with the same amount of money and have two completely different outcomes. One feels stressed, the other one feels more in control. What's the difference? It's not the financial plan, it's your financial plan. So here's the reality. You can keep doing what you're doing and hoping it works out, or you can take more control over it. If you want help applying this to your financial situation, go to myIncomePlan.com. We have plenty of resources there, including a couples alignment quiz, and also you can download your very own retirement income guide. So remember, you only retire once. Let's get it right the first time.